We have some pretty unfortunate news in the FGC today, as we have been given the news that CAG, aka Cyclops Athletic Gaming Osaka, is going to be shutting down their fighting game division. It is a very unfortunate thing. They were in the SFL for a while. They've been in fighting games for a very long time, housing a lot of different players. I think the biggest one, in my opinion, would be Goichi, and kind of starting and helping him. No, starting, but they've been a good SFL team for the past 3 seasons. They've been middle of the pack, like 7th, 8th, 6th to 8th, and they've been sponsoring players. They seem fairly loyal, so it's a tough day, especially in the Japanese scene. Like on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of different people commenting on it and being very sad about it, and obviously wishing all the players the best. I think it was a really good thing to have them, especially in Osaka, where there's a lot of orgs in like Tokyo. I think being able to spread out over all of Japan, I think really helps the scene and kind of gets the scene to grow equally around it, not just in Tokyo, even though it's the biggest like metropolitan area. And I'm personally very sad because I live in Osaka now. So I was rooting for them. Like in the footage from Street Fighter you have right now, I have the banner on still. I will keep it on for a bit. I'm not sure how long because I'll need to figure out another Japanese team. Could be Reject because I do have a jersey and I do like Reject, but they're kind of a super team. Yeah. So, that being said, while it's terrible and while it is a very unfortunate day for the scene, they have opened up a slot for Street Fighter Japan, which now says, okay, what teams can fill that slot? I think I've listed a ton of teams on my notepad over here, or over there. So if I look over, that's what I'm looking at, and I think there's 3 that are the most likely at the moment. Number 1 being Riddle Order right here. They're huge in Valorant. They're huge in Valorant. They're huge in Apex. I went to the Apex Worlds, and even though they were an LCQ team, I believe they had one of the busiest booths, like competing with Crazy Raccoon, competing with Fnatic, who's huge in Japan. Like that's the big Apex team. So I think they're a really good pick in terms of popularity and like a team or a tier 1 org. They have a team that I would be okay with competing in Street Fighter League as long as they add a player. They have JR, they have Adele, who was a Street Fighter League player already, and then they have Takagi, who was a Street Fighter League player for Cyclops Gaming Osaka. So I think that is probably would be my pick if I had to bet. But we also have Scars, who is a fairly bigger Japanese org and has a good FGC presence with Kincho, who just got the final spot for Japan and is going to Capcom Cup. Ryusei is a solid player. I'm not sure if he plays in Street Fighter League or not. I didn't actually look that up. But I think they would be a very good addition. The big Japanese org. Like, I think a lot of these teams that I listed, I wouldn't hate to see it, but the final of like the top 3 for me would be Kinotrope Gaming. I believe in fighting games they've been active with Tekken, I think more. I could be wrong, but I do know they were big in Apex. So the reason I bring them up in that like top 3 is I saw that they're it doesn't look like they have Tekken anymore. Oh wait, no, they do. Sorry, they do have Tekken still. The only reason I bring it up is the fact that they have an owner that expressly said on Twitter, I am interested in Street Fighter League. I think there's going to be a ton of teams interested. I think it's especially for your Japanese org, it's the best thing you can get into right now, especially with how big Street Fighter is. And with them not having any players, I think that's one of the big things against them, because they would need to then find a bunch of players to sign, which is possible, don't get me wrong, but not the easiest thing in the world. So I think those are like my three most likely. I did look at some like other big Japanese orgs in other spaces. Kind of rattle them off fairly quickly because I don't want this video to go on too long. Interforce 36. They sponsor a good amount of Smash Bros. Players. They are big in Apex, even though I don't believe their team is of Japanese players. They are in Overwatch, I believe, in the Japanese team. They are a Japanese org specifically. I've only chose, I believe, Japanese orgs. If one of them isn't, I fucked up. So they're a really big org. I think they could fill the slot well. I just don't know how much of a fighting game interest they have. And another team like that would be Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. They were added to the LCP, which is the League of Legends Pacific, as a partner team. So that was the choice of the teams in Japan. It was even over DFM, which was very surprising to me at the time. But I believe Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks are a baseball team, and it's obviously tied to SoftBank, which is ironically not a bank, but a phone carrier. It might even be a bank, I don't know. But like their big like presence in the global like economy sphere, and they also have a league team, so I could see them somehow, I don't want to say buying their way into SFL, but I could see them kind of using that as a little bit of weight to throw around. So I think that could be interesting. Sengoku Gaming / QT Dig. I knew them as Sengoku. I literally, when I was researching for this video, I found out that they kind of rebranded into this QT Dig. I don't really know what that's about, but they are in League. They had Valorant, they had Apex, I believe, so they had a few different teams that were recognizable for me. And I think they are a possibility. I don't know if they have any fighting game players right now. I don't think they do, so that would be a little bit harder. Same with like Reignite / the Noah's Fox collab. They are both, that collab is Valorant and Apex, I believe, right now. So I think, again, bigger org, but I don't think they have enough ties to the FGC, and I think they're like they're a little bit bigger than the smaller but relevant teams that I put, but they could be solid in it. I wouldn't hate their addition. Same with Fennel. Fennel is a bigger org. They have a lot of stuff, I think, at Pokemon Unite. They are in the LJL, which is the Japanese Tier 2 League of Legends. So I think that could be a fun addition to it. Smaller but relevant teams like North Epshin was a bigger team that I used to know, but I was looking at their teams and they look a little sparse, so I would be worried about kind of adding them right now, but I kind of want to just give them a nod and mention them. SBI Esports, they are in Apex, and they also sponsor Hibiki, but I think they're just such a smaller org, and like they're a bank, I believe, here, because I saw their logo here the other day. So they could be a interesting addition. I think that kind of depends on like the money, similar to Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, but just kind of on a lesser scale, I would say. And then some lesser known teams that I kind of found through the Japanese regionals, kind of going in the bag, would be the Satoshi Sparks. I saw they had 2 players. I didn't write them down, and I'm mad that I didn't. I think one got top 8 and one was in the 9 through 12th, so like that could be an interesting thing. Satoshi's apparently like the southern region, like southern coast of Japan. That's kind of the denotation, at least by Wikipedia standards. Another team with some players that did well in the Capcom Cup qualifiers were the Wakayama Indomitable Pandas. I think there's only one player, and again, I didn't write him down, so I apologize. That was doing pretty well, and I just wanted to add them because I love that name, and the logo is funny. And then a team that I've seen more and I believe has player, Otani is a player that played in Street Fighter League, Burning Core Toyama. They also did apparently have Kazunoko and Tachikawa, but CR took them. So that's kind of why I wouldn't think that they would get it, especially with like them kind of getting picked apart like that. And then the kind of like final just shot in the dark for me would be they add a big Korean team because of Street Fighter Asia starting up, and kind of like with the idea that it is a Street Fighter Asia team that will be coming in and just housing an entry in Street Fighter League Japan for now. I don't think this would happen, but I think like a DRX, T1 Genji, and like DN Supers, because DN Supers is huge in Tekken. I think if any of those 4 teams like really threw the weight around and was like, hey, we want to do this to get in and secure our spot in Street Fighter League Asia and do all that, I could see it happening. But definitely a lesser, I won't say lesser option, but an option that I don't inherently believe would happen. So that's my list. Again, I'm very sad that CAG is gone, but it is what it is, and hopefully we get a new team that represents Street Fighter League Japan well and continues kind of the era that CAG left and just pushes the FGC forward. So thank y'all for watching. I don't know how often I'll do videos like this. I kind of like talking about esports, so I'll try to do as much as I can, so hopefully people enjoy. If you do, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and have a wonderful day.